Today I'm talking about social welfare policies that are in need of reform. The first thing would be rural access to services and affordable housing here in Pennsylvania. Um, the lack of affordable housing, transportation, and availability of jobs make it hard to for those living in those areas to have access, resources, and proper living situations. There are some counties that have no homeless shelters or emergency shelters, like Pike County, whose only resource is a church that helps provide vouchers to those seeking help. There's zoning and land regulations that have been barriers to building in some areas, and the rise in rural elderly population are some of the reasons um, that rural homelessness um, and lack of resources is an issue. Governor Wolf has recently reallocated some funds into helping the state with affordable housing, but there wasn't a focus on the rural areas, and there needs to be a focus on that and rural homeowners that in desperate need of house repairs, so they prevent relocation, construction for low-income multifamily housing with easier access to transportation, and for shelters or equipping buildings or businesses with the ability to offer short-term shelter. Um, there's also TANF that's intended to be a safety net for needy families with dependents so that they can get help with basic needs in times of struggle. To qualify, families must have a child, have either an employment uh, or absent or be disabled. Um, the issue comes when discussing requirements other than income, which the income requirements alone are very outrageous. If you make more than $700 in Pennsylvania a month, there's no chance of you getting TANF. Um, there are other requirements that are issues, even more so, such as the work requirements and the fact that the program is only available to families for a cumulative of 5 years. In the 90s, when those requirements were added to TANF, the goal was to lower the number of families taking part in the program. It succeeded, but it wasn't necessarily a good thing. In the mid 90s, for every 100 poor families in Pennsylvania, TANF was providing cash assistance for 87 of them. Now the state only provides the program for 28 of those out of every 100 poor families. The amount given has not been updated to account for inflation, so families that get accepted on average in Pennsylvania only receive $420 a month. And it's not even rent for most people. As soon as the number of families receiving assistance decreased, the number of families in deep poverty rose. Um, in Washington, D.C. in 2018, they had a vast reform of their TANF system where they eliminated the 60-month time limit. They enhanced employment and training services, increased cash benefits, and the part that I liked the most was providing bonuses for families that met the goals. This allowed families an incentive to work, to self-enrichment. It gives actual solutions to the issues of being seen as free money, because it shows that these families, are working towards self-sufficiency and also empowerment. A challenge, one of the ones a challenge here in Pennsylvania specifically is the introduction of House Bill 1788 by Representative Binninghoff to reduce the amount of total time a family can receive to the benefits to only 48 months, and eliminates all extended time benefits except in very extreme cases in teen parents that are working in participation. Um, but going by the DC model, you would have incentives and bonuses for being an active participant. Globally, I think the thing that is facing the issue that is most daunting to all of our internationally is the climate change and different policies around the world and within our countries that have been made. A lot have been better policies, and then sometimes it gets backtracked. Um, and there must be a commitment to social justice by social workers to make a commitment in environmental justice, because the crisis disproportionately affects marginalized and vulnerable populations and can negatively affect their overall well-being as individuals, and which affects the communities and so on and so forth. Someone has said, unless we bring our best thinking and organization to bear on climate change or work on all the other issues near and dear to our hearts as social workers, run the risk of being comparable to rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. If the environment is significantly compromised to the point where people can't no longer live in many areas, the health and well-being of the global population is disrupted, entire communities are displaced, entire ecosystems are eroded, people are sick and dying all over the place, and that's so bad on so many different fronts. Social workers can help by bringing the personal environment and framework, using the experiences and knowledge of those affected by climate change, acquiring assistance from indigenous peoples to guide people back into connecting to their environment without appropriating any culture, and discussing within your communities how it intersects with other issues. The challenge is the lack of paid opportunities for social workers when it comes to climate change. Few equal social work organizations are there, like the Social Workers for Environmental Justice, especially on the global perspective. And there is a perspective that this is a public issue, not a social one, but I disagree. I think that this is a very profound effect on many parts of the country. The former first advisor to climate change to the president, Gus Thus, said, for climate change, we need a spiritual and cultural transformation, and we scientists don't know how to do that.